Okay, so today we're going to study SD-H-1, develop relationships. Develop and maintain relationships with diverse suppliers, including resources, coaching, and mentoring, and continuous improvement, lean, and business development. All right, so the key to managing a supplier relationship is focusing on establishing consistent communication and performance expectations, engaging in joint business planning, and providing marketing support. You can drive demand up by lowering prices and expanding product lines with new retail price points. You must manage the timing and communicate so both parties are ready for these investments. As a supplier becomes more efficient, the supplier will achieve operational savings. These savings should go back into the business, and some savings should also be passed to the retailer as they invest in new price points. This is called the learning curve. The more you do something, the faster you get at it. Advertising and promotions, having a good product program is important, but knowing where to advertise and promote is necessary to ensure sustained growth. Retailers can leverage their point of sale database to help ensure maximal brand exposure to drive sales. And diverse suppliers need to know how and where key demographics are shopping for the retail industries. Customer insights will also provide additional product ideas or line extensions that both parties can benefit from. Diverse supplier mentoring programs, see task G2 that we just got through doing a few days ago. And sourcing diverse suppliers. There are various methods for identifying opportunities for diverse suppliers. So the proposal process, or in the proposal process, there's 3 steps where diverse suppliers have an opportunity to be included in an RFX. First is at origination. Supply manager needs to match the supplier, diverse or otherwise, to the requirements of the project. For standardized items, a PO is all that's necessary. For low volume items, a set of needs must be matched to the supply base. And for high value customized parts, needs must also be matched to the supply base. Second area is qualification. Once quotes are received, supply management may have to do some negotiating to resolve issues and settle on a price. And the third area is negotiation. Simple negotiation will only take one person, whereas a complex will require a cross-functional team. Contract expirations. Prior to or at contract expiration is an opportunity for supply management professional to review the organization's needs to consider diverse suppliers available. New diverse suppliers may have become available during the term of the contract. In internal sourcing teams, cross-functional teams are useful in certain situations when complex items are being purchased, when no function has the resources or expertise to source the item adequately. Team members may have relationships with different diverse suppliers, etc. And teams should only consist of needed functions. The most common function required after purchasing is usually engineering. Bidding schedules. Allowing a fair supplier response time is something that can be used to open opportunities for diverse suppliers. So the organization should not make the bid response time so short that it eliminates some potential suppliers because they don't have enough staff to turn it around quickly. Often a diverse supplier will lack the same level of resources to complete an RFP that a larger major supplier will have. And for sourcing teams, bidding schedules should provide timelines at different levels of detail for everyone to monitor progress. The team needs to complement the schedule with other data collection methods that assess the quality of the team's ideas. Spend analysis. Data compilation. Spend data provides the capability for spend analysis that can lead to improved supply management sourcing strategies, control, and performance. Technology, spend management technology is a growing area for many organizations, can include things like e-procurement systems that allow online retail shopping catalogs, as well as resourcing and spend analysis. Modules that handle spend analysis allow organizations to segment purchases by commodity, supplier, and amount. And ERP products will continue to break new ground in areas of supplier performance, financial forecasting, sourcing, and bid optimization. Customized payment terms. So overall, buying organizations prefer more time to pay, while suppliers prefer to be paid as quickly as possible. This is due to both firms having the need to bridge between the time they must pay suppliers, usually around 30 days, and the time they are paid by their customers, which is usually greater than 60 days. So this bridge loan is known as working capital and usually requires a loan from a bank. A diverse supplier may be willing to make concessions in other areas in return for earlier payment. So maybe net 10, net 20 terms instead of net 30. And supply management professionals need to understand the buying organization's cash flow requirements. If payment period is too long, it can negatively affect the diverse supplier's financial performance. This is because you'll increase the requirement for working capital to cover the gap. So if your company says it's net 30, but it actually pays in net 60 or a net 90, you're going to put a big strain on a small company to try and cover that working capital gap. Dependency analysis. So determining the dependency a diverse supplier has with a buyer can be very important to a successful outcome. The buyer can understand how the supplier views them. This can be achieved with a customer segmentation analysis, which most marketing firms are familiar with, or marketing departments. Two variables should be assessed: the organization's value to the supplier and its attractiveness to the supplier. So the value to the supplier can be defined as a function of what percentage of the supplier's revenue is generated from the buyer. So if a high percentage of the supplier's revenue comes from a particular buyer, then that customer is very high in value. Attractiveness to the supplier is a function of how much brand recognition the company has and the amount of effort it must be provided to meet its needs. So if I'm IBM, I have high brand recognition and I'm very attractive. But if I'm a big pain in the neck to deal with and requires extra people, then I'm not so attractive. Potential negative outcomes range from a supplier putting up with or taking advantage of the buying company. Positive outcomes range from the supplier wanting to protect the relationship or grow the business. So these are negative outcomes because the attractiveness is low. These are positive outcomes because the attractiveness is high. And then, this is small spend, this is large spend for the supplier. Or large percentage of revenue, small percentage of revenue. So, obviously suppliers are going to want to protect these customers, high percentage of revenue and very high attractiveness. And they're going to want to just not deal with these suppliers or these customers. Very, very small spend, very low attractiveness. They're probably a pain in the neck to deal with. And then these two are in between. Capacity building, assistance that is provided to develop certain skills or upgrading of the supplier's ability. Will provide the following to both the buying organization and the diverse supplier: better economics and rich supply chain, competitive advantage, diverse supplier base with dynamic insights, upgrade and performance ability, strengthening of effectiveness. And capacity building activities are things like development of a business consortium fund, establishment of joint ventures with diverse suppliers, facilitation of mergers and acquisitions, and provisions of technical assistance. Capacity building success factors. So identify, you got to establish relationships with select organizations, perform research and analysis to select the potential suppliers, and seek prioritize opportunities. You develop a capacity building model, strategy and implementation documentation, specific internal and external resources, supplier diversity development strategy, and a cost benefit analysis. And step 3 would be to facilitate business growth, establish a supplier diversity committee, embed capacity building activities and supply management processes, establish goals by category, business strategy, and procurement needs, and then finally develop appropriate measures. Savings with selected diverse suppliers, expenditures with diverse suppliers, idea creation attributed to capacity building effort. These are all things you'd want to track. Time savings or work efficiency, surveys on existing supplier development rating systems, and specific metrics for a given opportunity or commodity. Not all of them will be easy to track, but those are examples of things that you want to if you can. Other continuous improvement methodologies that can be taught to the diverse supplier. All right. As a supply management professional developing supplier diversity strategy, which of the following answers would be most correct in a negotiation strategy requiring the removal of financial hardship, which would otherwise be a barrier to working with a diverse supplier? Most correct. So developing alternative suppliers, not that. Awarding the contract to multiple suppliers, that wouldn't help. Resubmitting a request for proposal, that sounds like a waste of time. Negotiating different terms, that's probably the answer. There we go, D. All right, one more. John is performing an internal analysis related to generation of a supplier portfolio. What could John do in terms of the size of his applicant pool to avoid bias against diverse suppliers? What could he do with the applicant pool for the RFP? Increase the screening size, possible. Keep the screening size neutral, that's not going to help a small guy. Resolicit a request for proposal, that's just a waste of time. And decrease the screening size, that's going to hurt a small firm, so it's got to be A. A it is. All right. Summary. Having a diverse supplier engage with the internal organization can improve their understanding and increase their commitment. Diverse suppliers need to know how and where key demographics are shopping due to the point of sale system. Having a good product or program is important, but knowing where to advertise and promote is necessary to ensure sustained growth. The buying organization's cash flow requirements dictate the range of payment terms that are acceptable from suppliers. And determining the dependency a diverse supplier has with a buyer can be important to a successful outcome. All right. Now we need to do some questions, and we are on H1. So we go find our exam questions. H1 questions. And we have got 8, 11, 13. We got 13 questions here. Do at least 10. You can do all 13 if you want. And the answers are located in the answer file, or H1, answers to practice questions. All right, so next time we will cover H2.